So I wanted to start a new series. I'm going to show you how to create a retro gaming machine. This is an old Intel computer. As you can tell, it's a really older one based on the type, and it's a compact basic system. I'm going to show you how to make a full-fledged gaming system using this. This flash drive is what the installer is. It's a net installer of Ubuntu 18.04. That's the smallest version you can get for an older system. I've always been a fan of retro gaming. I love the old games as long as they're new. I'm actually trying to collect. I've started collecting as part of my reselling, and I wanted to do some older stuff and kind of go through the history of you guys and show you older games. But I'm redoing this PC. I don't really have to, but I want to show you guys the in and outs of setting up a retro PC. Now, you can do it with Windows 10, Windows 11, any system, but since this is older, I'm actually using Ubuntu. If anybody's interested in buying a system custom made that will run older stuff, real retro stuff, I'm talking more retro than most, and you'll see what I mean when I set up the system, kind of games we're going to put on. But right now we're going to do the operating install. And I might have waited too long. It might be frozen. We will see. Yeah, I think I waited too long on the... Well, no, it's flashing, so it might be working. Just the computer's so slow. Well, we're going to turn it off, turn it back on, because I think my intro is a little too long for it to be sitting like that. The way you know it's working, when it turns on, that's when it'll start flashing. It's going to beep, and it is reading this drive. There we go. Install. Alright, it is going to take a while. This is an older computer, so the first part's getting through this, and it could take a while. I mean, we only got 2 gigabytes of memory on this thing. I mean, it's about as basic as it gets, so we're going to kind of let this sit, and I'll come back when we get to the next menu. Alright, it took a few minutes, and now we're to the next menu. It did take a good maybe 5 minutes, so if you're on an older system, do know it will take some long. The reason I'm doing it on an older system, you may say, why am I not just building on a new system? I want to show you the kind of power this emulator system has, how much you can really do with it. It's one of the best systems. It'll run multiple systems, multiple gaming consoles, as well as computers as well. So we're just going to do the basics. This is going to be English layout. Locations, US. It'll ask you if you would like to configure another keyboard. We'll say no. We're just going to use English. English US. Now it's detecting hardware. And as you can see, it's going to detect, it's going to the address, configuring. It's actually going to download the entire Ubuntu program through here. Now, I'm using retro since we're doing a retro system. So we're going to continue and say retro. That's what I did the last time. It's asking what site do you want to get the software from. We're in the US, so we're going to do United States. And then it suggests an archive based on where we're at. So we're going to use US Archives, ubuntu.com. That's where it's going to download all the files it needs to run the program. If we need a proxy, we would put it in now. I'm going to say continue because we don't use proxies. If you needed to use a proxy, that's where you would put it. Now, as you can see, it's downloading all the files it needs. It will go pretty fast because Ubuntu is a pretty low resource system, especially an older version, and it's 32-bit, so it won't take no time at all to install on here. And if I get to the end, I will make a part 2 because I want to show you guys the whole install process. I think it'll be more than 10 minutes to finish up. Now, if you're wondering where I got the install for the material, basically it's already had Ubuntu on. I just downloaded the small image and then installed it through the Ubuntu install creator, startup disk creator. And again, we're going to use retro for the user, just because we're doing a retro PC. And the username is going to be retro, of course. It's saying that because I had the first was, so it's going to lowercase it. Now it's going to ask me for a password, and as I type that, I will kind of put this down. It's going to ask me to verify the password. Then I'm going to show the password so I can make sure it's right. At this point, you can only use a keyboard because the mouse is not installed yet. And as you can see, I try to move the mouse, it does nothing. It's going to play based on your time zone. We are close to New York, so we're going to say yes to New York time zone. Installing more files. Setting up all the setup parameters. Now it's asking me how I want to set it up. And I always just pick use entire disk. And we know it's not the USB stick. And when you have a USB stick in, it'll always say USB stick usually, or the name of the drive. And it's usually under 100 gigabytes, 32 gigabytes, whatever your drive is. And I know I got a 500 gigabyte hard drive. And it says WDC. It's a Western Digital. What I usually use, my favorite. I prefer Western Digital, so that's going to be the hard drive. Now it says it's going to destroy all partitions that are currently on there. We do want to do that. And before I go on, I'm going to start a part 2 video. So let me stop this.